All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. So it's that time again. We're talking about what to do after seasons, because as of yesterday, early graduation has started, and a lot of people have been asking me, what do I do afterwards? So every time this happens, we usually make the same list, but every time they also add some sort of new mechanic to this game that I think is definitely worth touching and going over. So I have my little list of things we're going to talk about, but if you are new to the game and you're just wondering what should I do, here's what. So let me assume that you are, I don't know, let's find a character with almost pen everything. So let's assume you have full pen gear. Ignore the ring that's missing, ignore the thing because I converted that. So the first thing you do when you finally graduate and you're out in the open world, you're lost and confused, the first thing you would do is talk to Fugar. He'll allow you to transfer one piece of gear if this is your second and on character, and it'll turn it into a boss gear, and then you go from there. If this is your first ever season character, basically you turn all your Tuvala gear, assuming they're pen. I would not graduate early if you don't have full pen Tuvala. At least to armors and weapons. So the first thing you do if you are new is convert all your pieces to boss gear. It should look something, oh god, more or less similar, where you turn them into boss gear and you go from there. It's if you have pen, then you turn it into Tet boss gear. If it's like Tet, it goes to Try. It's basically one tier down. And so after that, once you get your piece of gear, what would I recommend converting if you are, like, let's say this is your second character, because your first time you would convert everything. So depending on if you play Awakening or Succession, I would always go for the main hand weapon first, because that gives you a lot of extra accuracy that the Awakening weapon doesn't give. Yes, you will get a little bit more AP if you choose the Awakening, but if you plan on doing any sort of PvP, then accuracy is very important. Whether you believe me or not, it is. And so that's where I would go. And then you guys may be wondering, what do I get? Because I know, what is it? It's not Jetina, right? This other NPC. It could be Jetina. You could convert your gear into like boss gear, and then it gives you two options: the DR version or the evasion version. The general rule is if you have to ask that question, you go DR, because evasion is good, yes, but later on it gets better, because the way it works is the more like evasion you have, the better your gear is. And if you are just starting out, then DR will probably be more useful until you get to the point where you think you can convert to evasion, which is very late game. So generally, if you have to ask, DR is the way. So what does that look like to you? Assume my gear is at Tet. You would get the Uragons as the shoes, the Beg's glove as your gloves, Red Nose instead of the tree armor for your armor, because the end game goal would be to get your Fallen God armor, and then it's actually cheaper to convert it at the late game, so you want Red Nose instead of Dim Tree. And then for your helmet, you get the choice of Gaiath versus Griffin. I personally believe that the Griffin is slightly better than the Gaiath, but when it comes to the helmet, it's not really super noticeable. Like 5% resistance versus 100 extra HP pool. It really just depends, but ultimately I think the Griffin is slightly better. So will you notice a difference? Chances are you won't. But your ultimate endgame goal is to convert all the boss pieces that are available into the higher end ones later on. So yeah. And then what do you do after? Hold on, let me just put this sticky note over here. So what else would I do? So at any town, you can go talk to Jetina. And I don't know where she is in Altanova, but she's in every town. Let me actually just go look for it. I'll show you. Calpheon, Medaya, Jetina. It's out there. So what she will offer you is some quests where you can do guaranteed pen, weapon, armors, and accessories. So the accessory part basically gives you one of 3 accessories, and it's a guaranteed pen. You basically do dailies for X amount of days, and then you convert it from a base to a pen with 100%. It's not free like people say, it's just guaranteed at a lower cost. So you get 3 choices. One would be the crescent ring, which I think most people should actually get. So it gives you a pen one, and if you look at the pen price, it's like 50, well, let's just say 50 billion, because that's an easy to think of number. And I believe this one actually gives the best stats of every accessory you can get. So I think for a new player to a mid-tier player doing this, this is the first one you should get. Then the next choice you get is a narc accessory. This one is more for like the defensive, and you get the AP, but it has to be in the comma area. But realistically, the reason why people use this is because it gives a DP, which allows you to grind different spots you've never done before, and maybe you feel a little bit safer. Along with the, like, technically it is better if you're grinding in the comma area, but I personally think that the DP is really nice as well. It's a little bit cheaper. And then the last one it gives you, or the last choice it gives you, is a tongue red earring. I do believe this is actually the worst option of the 3. I would not pick it. Good news. You can convert them. Let's say you chose the narc earring first and you decided you didn't like it. You can actually talk to Jetina, and then at tet level and at pen level, you get 1 free change, or you could swap over. And so you could pick the one you want, and I think it's overall better. But my personal recommendations to all of you, 1 being the crescent ring, 2 the narc earring, and 3, well, I just wouldn't get this one at all, so it doesn't really matter. Just get 1 of the 2. I think the crescent would just be overall better just because it gives more AP, and then chances are that'll help you more than the other 2. So next, what you do is go to Jetina as well for the weapon and armor. And basically, I have a video if you guys want to check it out. And a lot of other guides I've seen of people doing Jetina, they just show you how to like make it, and then they tell you what materials you need. In the video I have, if I remember, I'll leave it in the description. I basically do it in live time for all of you, and I show you how to get the materials, where to get the materials, what you need, and I craft it and show you exactly how it's done from step 1 to the end. And so basically you get a guaranteed weapon, and this is the end result. So this is my other character that has it. I have a pen dandy, and we did the Jetina just for a demonstration. That was a fun video, by the way. I spent like 7 billion just to make a video, and I don't even need it. So good stuff, right? And then, yeah, that's the Jetina thing. That is like actual 100% guaranteed progression after that, and like the first thing you should be doing. Next, I would recommend doing the Magnus questline if you haven't already. The reasoning is because at the end of the Magnus, it gives you a guaranteed pen boss armor of your choice. And so let's say you graduated from, I don't know, what is a character that I have? Oh god, all my season gear is scuffed. Okay, anyway, let's just use this one. So, you know how it gives you tet? Let's say you have it on your first one. All your gear is tet. You get a box, you pick the one that you think is the most important. And the one that you think you need first is the one you should get. I would personally pick the pen red nose, because that one is technically the easiest right now to convert to Fallen God. Or I guess it really just depends on the market. Find out which flame is the cheapest and then go from there. So personally, in my eyes, get the ones where you can convert your gear to either the Labresca, Fallen God, or the gloves. I would probably hold off on the gloves now because it's a little bit more tedious, whereas the flames you can actually just straight up buy on the market. Well, I guess in this case right now, get the one that's cheaper of the 3, but also at the same time, get the one that you can get. So in my case, I would just put an order. It'll probably fill realistically. So get the flame. This one is for the armor piece. The blue flame is for the helmet, and this flame is for the gloves. So get whichever one is the cheapest at the time for you. And after that, you can learn how to do the progression pass if you haven't finished this already. This actually gives a lot of rewards that people kind of tend to skip over, because if you are a new player, this basically is the tutorial of the game, and it tells you how to do everything. And just like, if you grind different spots, just do all these. The rewards are actually pretty good. Like, you get some decent valued items over here. So definitely finish up all of this if you can. I still have one more cooking, or a few more cooking to do, or farming things I'm probably never gonna do. But anyway, finish up all the relevant ones, like especially the guaranteed pen. That's important. If you are interested in life skilling, I guess do this. But ultimately, I have videos on how to do it that explain how to do a lot of different life skills more in detail than this actually does. So I might leave that in the description as well. I should probably go to Garmoth right now. So anyway, what's next? So when you take the Tet gear, or so let's say this is your second time, you convert your pen Tuvala into any choice you can. I would probably go with the main hand first, followed by Awakening second, and then everything else is just kind of irrelevant. But yeah, then you start learning how to grind for silver. That's the fun part, right? So what you would do is you open up this menu right here. This is the Monster Zone info. And basically, we made a very detailed video looking at all the sets, or like the spots in this game. And I would say they're pretty accurate. So what you would do is look at your gear and compare that to where you think you can grind. And so I have a video talking about how much silver you can make versus like if you're grinding for XP and everything, which I think is a good thing now because we have an event going on. Oh, I didn't even get loot, I don't think. Oh, did I get loot? Got a 30 stack and 10 mil. What a fun game. Oh, is that 10 mil? Yeah, that's 10 mil. I hit Garmoth once and got a 30 stack. Another thing I would do is start making other characters. As you guys saw live, we have all these characters. Obviously, I have one main, and that's my Dark Knight. But the reason why you should have multiple characters in this game is to put them at boss halts. And you just get money passively just by doing random bosses like Garmoth. And so instead of having to drag your main out to different spots, you can put them at all the different bosses. And so that just helps you progress in the future as well. And there's a lot of cool stuff that I would recommend. Hold on, let me go back to my main. So after you look at your grind spots, where you go, you ask yourself, what do you want? Money, EXP, or treasure items? I would personally pick like grinding for money, because I understand that when people come out of other MMOs, you're like, oh, okay, so I should probably grind to max level or something. In this game, there is no level cap. You just grind infinitely, basically. And then what you're going to want to do is grind for silver. That allows you to get gear progressions faster, and or get silver to enhance your gear faster, whichever one works for you. And so yeah, overall, that's a lot of things. Jetina will help you pretty much past the tutorial stage of the game. And then after that, you basically just start doing a lot of these other things. So one thing I would recommend to people early on is starting the Pit of Undying. And this is basically a little arena where you fight different bosses. And what it'll give you at the very beginning is it'll give you these insignias, right? Starting from Pry all the way to Pen. And the XP bonus it gives you is kind of irrelevant. But what you do is fight the boss or a set of like 4 bosses every day. And it gives you coins that you turn into like other rewards that have monetary value. And what I personally choose is the Cronstones. And it allows you to just upgrade your gear faster if you are enhancing. Otherwise, you can get like accessories and just sell them on the market, which is also a good choice as well. I believe right now is a good time to be returning, and especially if you are new, this is something I would recommend doing now. So we have an event going on up until the 26th, and it gives you 2 items. One is a rocking horse, and the second is like a whistle, and it allows you to combine it into this item and give you a dream horse of your choice. So getting a tier 9 horse is considered pretty expensive, like 10 to 12 billion. And so you get to pick one that you really want. And if you're an endgame player, you're probably going to choose the sensor bundle, which I think I'm going to choose. I just have to think about it for a few more days. And so you get a tier 9 horse. All the skills are maxed. This is definitely a very limited time thing that you should be doing right now. And yeah, overall, your goals are basically get better gear, find better grind spots, and or find new life skills that you enjoy doing. We have some videos on the channel as well of like which life skills are profitable, which ones are fun to do, which ones are not worth your time. So overall, that's a different video. I could talk about that for literally hours, but for the sake of keeping this more or less short, gathering is a very good one. Learning to gather and turn those materials into higher tier with cooking and hunting, very good. Everything else is kind of just okay, but like everything has their own uses, and so you'll find the one that you like soon. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, drop it in the comments below, join the Discord and everything. I would love to see you guys come back if you're new, so hit that subscribe button and everything. So yeah, every season we like to talk about the new things that came out and things you guys should do. So if I was a new player, I would take all that advice and just ultimately just play the game at your own pace. Don't keep comparing yourself to others. I remember when I first started the game, I started with one of my friends, and our goal, we came from a different MMO where like gear score and gear everything, everyone wanted to go for the highest parses and everything. But in this game, it's one of those play at your own pace, gear at your own pace, everything, and you will get burnt out a little bit less than people who are super competitive. But with that said, it's all from me today. If I missed anything, feel free to ask. Definitely now is a good time to play because we have fat drop rates and XP bonuses going on right now, especially for life skills. And yeah, that's it. So see you guys later. Have a fantastic day.